We're giving children free healthcare, we're giving them free food, free emotional support. That's dangerous. That's communism when you think about it. Rebecca Friedrichs, conservative Christian activist. Fox News guest, children don't deserve free food because that's communism. So what you're telling me is that we should go back to the Victorian era, when children were required to work as chimney sweeps, or to work in factories, in cotton factories, in other factories that the risks were losing limbs or getting permanently injured, suffering permanent lung damage. What you're saying is we should go back to those days. I understand. Yes, I told you the level of concern, but you walked by like you never heard. And you could bring down my level of concern. Just need you to tell me we're alright, tell me we're okay. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be looking at r/YouKaren. This is a subreddit dedicated to the Karens of the current generation. Now, before we begin, I would like to specify that you don't have to be called Karen to be a Karen. Often people called Karen aren't necessarily the Karens of this subreddit. If you were called Karen, but you are a reasonable person that is kind and doesn't seek out interactions with food workers and retail workers to be mean to them for just doing their job, then you are not a Karen. If you don't have this feeling of self-entitlement and as though the world revolves around you, then you are not a Karen. If you do have these things that I have just mentioned, but your name isn't Karen, you are still a Karen. It's similar to the whole boomer thing, where you don't have to be born in the boomer generation to have the boomer mentality. That is what it is to be a Karen, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. This little bit of hair is really annoying me. Let's get that out of my face. Let's take a look at the subreddit, shall we? The N-word is used to marginalize and dehumanize an entire race. Karen is used to describe entitled morons who believe the entire world revolves around them. Example, Karen is the new N-word, is literally the most Karen sentence in the universe. Yeah, so this is along the lines of what I was saying, and we'll probably see some in this video, but there are a lot of Karens that seem to think that being called Karen, and equally being the OK Boomer thing, is like the new N-word, and it's so insulting, and it's like, they're literally one of the most racist and offensive generations around. And I'm not saying that everyone from that generation is, but newer generations are a lot better in that regards. They have done this kind of stuff. They insult other people. They put other people through and blame them for stuff. But the minute anything is turned on them, they have to snap. It's the new N-word. It's so offensive. If you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen, you know? The encounter. I got rights. I want to get my hair cut. Why don't you go to China? The reunion. Shortage my ass. You get me a ventilator, damn it. I'm an American. Now, there's something I would just like to mention. Most of you probably didn't assume this, but in my r/trashy video, I got a comment of someone assuming that all of the stuff I was saying towards the protesters being crazy and their protests being wrong and not accomplishing anything, someone just for some reason assumed I was talking about the nurse who was counter-protesting and already going on protest, even though I at no point mention a nurse. I never say I'm talking about the nurse, I never mention the nurse, and in the same video, I do caption to specify the cars. I don't know how you can misinterpret me that badly when I actually specify, but when I tried to explain that I was talking about the cars and not the nurse, suddenly they knew more about what I was trying to say than I do. Apparently they knew my point and that I just didn't understand the point I was trying to make. I didn't understand my own point of view. Like, no, you're yelling at me about a point I didn't make. Anyway, I just thought I would clear that up for anybody that watches the trashy video. Only one person seemed to have got that opinion out of what I was saying, but my opinion wasn't that what the nurse was doing was wrong. It was what the people in the trucks flying signs and American flags were doing was wrong, because it's a pandemic. Protests are not going to accomplish anything. If anything, they will remove your right to go out at all. Sorry for a long rant. This is going to be a long video. We're only like 4 pictures in. Hey, old lady that stole our doormat. You should probably just bring it back. That's super weird, and you're way too old for this. That is a super weird thing to steal. It's like this old lady was just like, ooh, that's a nice doormat. Should I ask them where they got it? No, I'll just take it. It's mine now. Like, what? Who does that? That's such a weird thing to do. 90s scientists. We cloned a sheep and we landed a robot on Mars. Scientists today. For the last time, the Earth is round. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why this one was in this subreddit. Actually, I have no idea why this one's in this subreddit. Oh boy, it is really, really warm in here. My windows are like all the way open. Just, oh, I'm roasting. It's summer in the UK and we don't have anything to cool us down. I'd like to return this. Mom, that's a prom dress. I know that. This is a hardware store. Yeah? Is this not the end of the conversation? Are you sassing me? I mean, kinda. I do love this guy's comics. White women have been calling black women Shanae, Lakeisha, and Shaniqua in a demeaning manner since the 80s. Latinas were called Consuela or Guadalupe or Maria, and Asian women were called Ling Ling, but they can't handle being called Karen for 11 months. Exactly, right? This is the point I was trying to make earlier. Like, they will sling around insults and get angry at everybody for everything, but the minute it's turned on them, suddenly they're the victim. Our soccer ref didn't show up, so one of the moms on our team had her 9-year-old son ref for us. He had a whistle, and a completely adult woman on the other team argued with one of his calls, and he yellow carded her in front of everyone, and she had to sit in her car to calm down. That is the best response. The soccer mum gets angry at a child reffing, and he just goes, yellow card. Yellow card. But for real, like, I don't understand these soccer mums that get so angry over these soccer games. It's a game. They are children just trying to have fun. Sit your butt down and chill out. Reminders from your child. Okay, here's the point I was literally just making. I'm a kid. It's just a game. My coach is a volunteer. The umpires are humans. No college scholarships will be handed out today. Thank you and have fun. The fact that they needed to make this sign shows that there are way too many crazy soccer mum Karens out there that are trying to ruin this sport for everyone. Just let these kids have fun. It's just a game. It's just a game. What was your best "you're speaking to the manager right now" moment? Friend of mine. She was getting chewed out over something or other. Finally, the woman loudly demanded to see the manager, so she shrugged and got the manager. Manager comes out all confused. Angry woman demands my friend get fired. Manager is very confused. But, Mom, I can't do that. She's the owner. That is brilliant. I really feel that there are situations where if a customer is being unreasonable and harassing staff, then the staff should be allowed to react in a way on par with the way they are being treated. Restaurants are reopening soon for dine-in service. The owners and employees are stressed. Please don't go and complain about minor things. Please don't go if you're not going to tip. Please don't go if you're going to hassle them about the new rules. If you can't be nice, don't go. I think this should apply in general. I think that regardless of whether cafes are just opening after a pandemic, I think after everything goes back to normal, these rules should still apply. I think if you're not going to be nice and reasonable to people working in restaurants, then what is the point of going to the restaurant? You're going to ruin your own experience, you're going to ruin the people working there's experience, and you're going to ruin everybody else trying to have a nice meals experience. You accomplish nothing but ruining everyone's day. And if that is what you want out of a meal, who even are you? Here we have a video. Here we have a video of some woman harassing some policemen because a car was pulled over, and she absolutely has to know why the car was pulled over, even though the driver is 18, has his own driver's license, etc. I'll just play the video. I'm not going to play the whole video because it's nearly 5 minutes long, but I'll play important parts of it so you guys can get an idea. There isn't any audio apparently, so I can't actually talk over this. There are subtitles. But yeah, she's talking about how, oh, you know, I'm here as a concerned citizen and I take full responsibility for them. And what's the reason they were pulled over? And the policeman goes, the driver has all the information, he can tell you. And she goes, no, you have to tell me. And he's like, no, I don't. And yeah, so it's just an argument like that. A piece of information I just got to is that she's called Karen. She perfectly lines up with this subreddit. But my favorite detail, my absolute favorite detail, is that it's Karen spelt with a C. Oh man. That's all we need to know on this video. That's all we needed. When church is over and you're on your way to verbally assault a waitress. Yeah, I mean, these people are like, I am a church-going Christian citizen, a blah-de-blah, but I'm going to harass everybody I encounter because that is what God wants of me. The whole point is that you have to be kind and accepting of everybody. Everybody's human, we make mistakes. Don't harass people for making mistakes. Hold on, Mummy's getting in another Facebook fight. Okay. Baby's on fire. She's like, nope, Facebook fight's more important. Sounds about right. Virus enters the body. Vaccinated child's immune system. Hey, I've seen this one. Anti-vax child's immune system. What do you mean you've seen it? It's brand new. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of viruses. Not viruses, that's the whole point of vaccines, that your body knows what it's coming up against, and I'm not even going to talk about it. I talk about it way too much. It makes me angry. Ellen DeGeneres reportedly once called Steve Jobs to complain about her iPhone. She just lives in an incredibly privileged bubble. How did she even get hold of his phone number? She's got him on speed dial. She's like, ayo, my iPhone ran out of charge again. And he's like, if you close down the 50 tabs you have open at once and turn your brightness down so it's not on full blast, then maybe it will last a little bit longer. And she's like, are you telling me how to use my own phone, Steve? And he's like, why did you even call me, Ellen? Why? I thought you wanted my help. A Karen with common sense. Thanks, Karen. Karen is not a slur. It is a stereotype white woman earned by raising monsters, voting for monsters, and behaving like monsters. Our behavior is so atrocious to everyone except us that our own children are making memes and videos mocking us. Thank you. I mean, you don't even have to be called Karen to act like one and to deserve the title. It's kind of crazy that there are even people like that. How can you be so unself-aware that you would act like that in front of other people, no less? My generation of people is like, I'm old enough to get married now. I'm legal. I can have a kid if I want to. I am by no means going to. I am not ready for that. I'm not dating. But there are people in my generation that can and will and are. And I predict that Karen is going to be the lowest used name of children being born from my generation. No one is going to be calling their kid Karen anymore. I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. Well, this woman clearly doesn't know what slavery means. You're being, you're stuck at home. You can't go out and get your hair cut or go to the pub or work. My question is, what part of this is slavery? You're literally, all that's happening is you're stuck at home on the sofa, drinking alcohol, probably, and watching Netflix. Slavery is being forced to work without a pay in demeaning circumstances. Usually you're getting whipped or forced to work harder to a point that it's harming you. All that's happening is you're stuck at home. This isn't slavery because nobody is profiting off of it. Nobody is earning money off of you being stuck at home. It's not slavery, it's just basically an extended holiday. You're probably earning money. You probably are getting unemployment fund. You're probably getting some kind of benefits from being home without a pay. You're literally being paid to sit at home and watch Netflix. How is that slavery? Me and this little old Mexican lady were talking in Spanish, and this white old in a wheelchair said, "We're in America, why don't you speak English?" And the little Mexican lady told her, "You have legs, why don't you walk?" I nearly died. I gave her free coffee. This is something I see a lot in white supremacy racists, the really annoying, angry white people in America. You do get it in England, but I don't think it's as common. At least maybe you see it more in America because there's a lot more people in America. But either way, why do you need these people to speak your language? One, are they speaking to you? If they are speaking to you, then it would make sense that they speak to you in your language so you can understand. If they are not speaking to you, you don't need to understand what they are saying. You don't need to listen into their conversation. You don't need to pay attention to them. You have no reason to need them to speak your language because they're not talking to you and you are not a part of the conversation. Do you understand the point I'm trying to make here? Chances are they can speak your language, but they are choosing not to for privacy or because it's easier for them or just because they don't want to. And you know what? You Americans rave on about how it's a free country and America is full of freedom. Then that means they are free to speak their own language. They do not need to speak your language, and nor are they forced to because they are free. And if they are not free, then why are you saying that America is about freedom? If you are forcing your language upon them, then it's not freedom, is it? Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I don't really have anything to mention other than stuff I've already mentioned in previous videos. I have a Patreon if you want to support me and help me get a new microphone. Other than that, I have one video left in this subreddit to show you guys, so that's where I'm going to leave it. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.